Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy Winster. Hopefully, you guys are having a phenomenal day. Today, I'm pretty excited. We're talking about the new set that's scheduled to release in roughly about 2 weeks, October 21st, DarkWing Blast. We're going to be talking about the Despia branded strategies. Y'all know how much I love it. We're going to be talking about the new cards in the set that are here to directly support the strategy or indirectly. But before we get into that, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. It does help out a lot. And let me know what you think about the new set. What cards are you excited for the new strategy, or what cards are you just excited for in general? Okay, to start us off, we're going to go ahead and go through the monsters first, and then spells, and then traps. So we got 5 new Bestial cards. I know a lot of the community are pretty excited about these, so we're going to go through it one at a time. To start us off, we got Bestial Magnum Hunt. You can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is special summoned, you could activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, add one dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Bestial Magnum Hunt. You can only use each effect of Bestial Magnum Hunt once per turn. So this card is pretty good. It is somewhat of a searcher, a little bit of a slow searcher, and it only activates when it's on the field. Coming up, we got Bestial Saranir. You can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you could send one Bestial monster or one branded spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard, except Bestial Saranir. You can only use each effect of Bestial Saranir once per turn. So I think this card is okay. It's not too bad. I think the great thing about it, it doesn't need to be sent a specific way to the graveyard, just as long as it hits the graveyard. So you could foolish this, you could mill this. Obviously, for the branded Despia strategy, you could use branded fusion, or you could just fusion it off while it's in the field or in your hand. Sending a Bestial or a branded spell or trap is okay. Obviously, it sets up for other Bestial cards. It also sets up for other branded Despia strategies that revolve around getting spell and trap from the grave and setting it on your field. Bestial Druisworm. You could target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you could target one special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. You could only use each effect of Bestial Druisworm once per turn. Out of the 3 Bestial cards that we have gone over, I personally think this is one of the better ones. Yes, it only targets special summon monsters that are on the field, and it has to be sent from field to grave. But if you're already using the Despia branded strategy, you're probably going to poly this off and to get that effect to clear the board. I'd like to mention also that these 3 Bestial cards are super rare, so they're going to be a little bit easier to get than the next cards that we're going to go over. The Bestial Abalos cannot be normal summoned, set. Must be special summoned from your hand or grave by attributing 2 Bestial monsters. While this card summoned this way, in the monster zone, negate the effects of all face-up ritual, fusion, synchro, exceed, and link monsters on the field. If this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because an opponent's card effect, you can banish all face-down cards in the extra deck face-up until your opponent's end phase. Obviously, with being the boss monster, the summoning condition on this guy is a little bit harder, given the Bestial card summoning requirements are pretty easy. Also, it softens the blow because you can special summon from the hand or grave. But when this big boy hits the field, he would essentially board wipe everything without removing anything. Having 3500 attack, 3500 defense, he is a beefy boy, and he'll be able to attack over everything. If your opponent were to clear your board and this guy's on the field, you will essentially kind of lock them out of their extra deck because they'll be banished face up. That in and itself is pretty ridiculous. Up next, we got our first secret rare, the Bestial Lubellion. Cannot be normal summon, set, must be special summoned from your hand or grave by attributing 1 level 6 or higher dark dragon monster. You can only special summon the Bestial Lubellion once per turn this way. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 Bestial monster from your deck to your hand, except the Bestial Lubellion. During your main phase, you can place 1 branded continuous spell trap from your deck face up on your field. You could only use each effect of the Bestial Lubellion once per turn. I personally think that this is the best card thus far for the bestial and the branded support. You could have multiple copies of this card in your hand and still activate multiple effects. You could send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add one bestial monster from your deck to your hand, except him. And you could special summon this card from your grave. So if you were to activate Branded Fusion, go into Albion, send him and Fallen of Albaz, and then special summon him, and then start getting his other effects. Like, during your main phase, you could place one branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up on your field. The synergy is obvious, but it's also amazing. We got the second secret, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. If you control Fallen of Albaz, or it's in your grave, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, quick effect, you could fusion summon one level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, you could add this card from your graveyard to your hand. You could only use each effect of Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous once per turn. So obviously it synergizes well with Fallen of Albaz. You can special summon it if it's in your grave or if you control it. So having Albion the Shrouded Dragon, where it sends a Fallen of Albaz from the deck to the grave, will synergize well with this. And also, it's a great way to fusion summon, so if you don't have the options. And also, it does have a recursion, so if you were to go into your full play and on Mirror Jade, activate Mirror Jade effect to banish something on the field to send Albion as cost, you get not only Albion, but you would get this effect as well. Synergizes well, and it's a tuner level 4. That is actually amazing. Hopefully we get a synchro for branded stuff. I don't think so, considering that it restricts you a lot when you activate Branded Fusion. The spells are next. Branded Regained. If a light or dark monster is banished, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, place that monster on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw one card. You could use this effect of Branded Regained once per turn. Once per turn, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you could target one bestial monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You could only activate this effect of Branded Regain once per turn. So I do think this card is okay. I do like the recursion effect. If a light or dark monster is banished, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, place that monster at the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw one card. So it does have a Shrouded Dragon effect where you're able to draw a card, and a lot of the time you're going to go into Albion, go into Mirror Jade. But when you do, those cards are banished. Obviously, this effect will activate and then start getting in your play. I think the more ridiculous effect is once per turn if your opponent normal summon or special summon. So it doesn't matter. If they summon a monster except during the damage step, you can target one bestial monster in your graveyard, special summon it. That is kind of insane. And if that monster that you were to summon were to have an effect when it hits the field, then you get another effect. We got our second spell in our first common, Decisive Battle of Golgonda. This card name becomes Great Sand Sea Gold Golgonda. Damn, say that 3 times fast. While on the field or in the graveyard, once per turn, if a card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could send one fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material from your extra deck to the graveyard instead. During the end phase, if you have Fallen of Albaz on your field or in your grave, you can special summon one Springen's monster from your hand or deck. You can only use each effect of Decisive Battle Golgonda once per turn. If you do manage to resolve your board, be able to get a Springen's kit. Kit also allows you to add a branded spell or trap, and then you have to put a card at the bottom of the deck. I think you don't really need this card. I think this is the worst support. It does have very nice protection effect, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't even allow you to fusion summon when the whole theme is fusion summoning. Yes, it does have the ability to, if you have a Fallen of Albaz in the grave or in the field, you could special summon a Springen's monster. Usually you're going to go for Kit, but Kit already special summons herself if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz. Yes, you do have to put a card back into your deck once you search, but you already do this with Branded Loss, and Branded Loss gives you protection. Our last card we're going to go over today, it is our first trap. It comes in a super rare. Branded Beast. Once per turn, during the main phase, if you control a bestial monster, you can tribute one dragon monster, then target one card your opponent controls. Destroy it. During the end phase, you could target one branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard, place it face up on your field. You could only use this effect of branded beast once per turn. I do think this card is okay. I do like the art where, you know, Aluber is turning into God knows what the fuck is going on there. But I do like that it's not restrictive, and a lot of bestial monsters can activate their effects as quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Obviously, you would tribute the monster that you would special, and then so it would have some sort of removal. So I do think it's okay. As far as like, you could target one branded continuous spell trap in your grave, place it face up on the field. I think it's okay. Not a lot of the good branded spell trap cards are continuous, so this card would only really work, in my personal opinion, from a competitive standpoint, would only work with branded and lost, and a lot of the time that card just stays up on the field. You don't really send it, you need it face up. Now, my personal thoughts, I think Konami did a fairly good job. Obviously, everyone's super excited about the bestial cards, and given that they're super rare, they're going to be easier to get than a lot of other cards. But the fact that they're, you know, not restrictive on their summoning condition, and all they require is a light or dark monster in either graveyard, is fucking bonkers. Obviously, they have other effects that are synergized or are literal direct support to the branded Despia strategy. I'm more excited to see what the community is going to use these cards for, what kind of decks they're going to go into. And I'm also excited for the branded Despia strategy and what the ratios are, because in all honesty, I don't know. But I do know that I think that by far Lubellion's the best. He synergizes the well. You could run multiple copies. He's not too cloggy. He could activate from the grave, in the hand, and on the field. And he's a light monster, so that works perfect with Albion. I'm also excited for Cartesia. It does suck that these two are probably the better ones, but Konami knows what they're doing. They want our fucking money, so they made them secret rare. Okay guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I'm pretty excited for what the future holds for the branded Despia strategy, and I'm actually pretty excited, and I'm happy the way that Konami put this new support together. Let me know in the comment section below your guys' thoughts and opinions. Do you guys enjoy it? You guys need more? Do you think this is enough? Let me know in the comment section below how you feel, and what other cards are you excited for that are up and coming in this set. With that being said, guys, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. And if you want to watch any of this content live, be sure to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/evilwinster. Also join my Discord. There's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh talk, a lot of fighting game talk. We have also the NSFW, so we kind of loot up in this bitch. But please be sure to join those communities. Until next time, guys, I'll check you out on the next video.